Setting up a gluten-free kitchen and home can seem like a tremendous amount of work, and it can be. You have to consider the foods already in your refrigerator, the freezer, and the pantry. Not only do you have to think about the foods you already have, but also the many pots, pans, and other number of kitchen sundry, appliances, and tools. Yes, it can seem like a lot of work, and it is. However, taking the time to do it right can determine whether or not you continue to expose yourself to the very thing that is making you sick. Some people think that finding gluten-free foods is the first step, and I agree to a certain extent. After all, we do have to continue to eat. However, removing foods that contain gluten and removing trace remains of gluten from your home is probably the most important and one of the first steps you need to take on the journey to being gluten-free. This includes investigating which foods in your refrigerator and pantry have gluten in them, but also cleaning and even buying new things such as pots, pans, utensils, etc. that will support you and your new gluten-free lifestyle. I recommend only buying a few items at first just to sustain yourself. Take the time to clean out first and then stock up, because you may inadvertently contaminate something that you just bought simply by putting it on the same shelf with something that contains gluten. We will get into all of this, but first let me introduce myself. My name is Chef Vidam Clementi. After suffering and dealing with many gastrointestinal issues and many other additional issues for 25 to 30 years, I was finally diagnosed with non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and within 4 days of a gluten-free diet, my life began to change for the better. Within 30 days, 98% of my problems were gone. I am the main cook in my house, and the idea of making 2 meals, a regular meal for them and a gluten-free meal for me, was not going to happen. I needed to make one meal that was great for everyone. I began to post my successful recipes on Facebook, and I began to see that a lot of people were having trouble with gluten-free foods and cooking. I had enough people ask me to create a cookbook, and so I began to work on that idea. It wasn't long before Vidam's Gluten-Free and Fabulous became more than just an idea. However, I did take my time doing the things that I'm going to share with you today, and because of that, I was still frequently exposing myself to cross-contamination. If I could turn back time, I would do it differently, but those days are now gone. Yes, I wish I would have done it differently, but then I would not have had those reoccurring bouts of being sick. So today, I'm going to share with you what I wish I would have done. Let's start with the obvious place, the kitchen. First, check your refrigerator and pantry. There is no such thing as being too meticulous. There are the obvious things that you're going to have to remove, such as bread, pasta, cookies, crackers, most of your baking supplies, pizza, bagels, and cereals. You will have to check your canned soups, condiments, and salad dressings. Not all of those have gluten in them, but many do. Yes, some of these things may be gluten-free. However, since most of those things have been exposed to gluten, there has already been cross-contamination. I will get into that concept later, but for now, most likely, unless they have not been opened, they will need to go. You will want to check everything. Speaking of condiments, condiments such as mayonnaise, butter, peanut butter, jellies, jams, cream cheeses, salad dressings, etc. Some of these are gluten-free naturally. However, if the product allows for double dipping, throw it out. If you don't, you will constantly be exposing yourself to gluten. Even ketchup. Think about the people that cut their burgers and then stick the knife into the bottle to get the ketchup flowing. Also, in the beginning, you may be surprised about certain things that you would not think contain gluten, but they do. There are many sources of gluten, such as teriyaki sauce, soy sauce, lunch meat, bouillon cubes, etc. So, investigate everything. And don't forget about your freezer. Many people have things like breads, pizzas, frozen pot pies, and French fries in their freezers. Many of those things have to go. Yes, even those French fries, which are supposed to be nothing more than potatoes. However, many brands of frozen French fries and other fried and frozen foods, they have been dipped in flour to make them crispier when frying or baking, so they have to go. Next, you have to think about your pots and pans. Some believe that washing these items in a dishwasher is sufficient, and some do not. Therefore, I would recommend consulting your physician and see what they say pertaining to you and your situation. However, here are my suggestions. If your pot or pan has grooves, cut marks, etc., do not take the chance. You may want to start again. This is up to you. I have read many thoughts pertaining to this. Some say washing in the dishwasher is sufficient. Some say that a bleach soak is sufficient, and others say to throw them out and start fresh. Then comes your cutting boards, strainers, sifters, etc. I recommend starting over. These items naturally have cuts, grooves, netting, etc., which can and do hold onto small fragments of food. Yes, with these items, I do recommend you start new because of what they are and what they have been previously used for. Your health is more important. Then comes those items such as toasters, toaster ovens, waffle makers, blenders, grills, coffee grinders, etc. Yes, even coffee grinders. Did you know that many flavored coffees are not gluten-free? These items are virtually impossible to clean, and they can be the culprit of continuing to get you sick if you keep them. These items cannot be submerged in water or placed in a dishwasher, so why take the chance? Then comes those items such as utensils, knives, measuring cups and spoons, cheese graters, etc. The general rule of thumb is anything that has grooves, ridges, scrapes, cuts, nettings, etc., get rid of them. Do not take the chance. Then comes cleaning your cabinets, refrigerators, cupboards, etc. Really, there is no such thing as overkill. Wipe everything down with clean, soapy water. This way, when you begin to buy new items, products, etc., you'll be putting them away in a clean cupboard. Now please take note. It is best to remove all traces of wheat, rye, barley, etc. from your home. However, in some homes, there are people that keep both types of products because the whole family may not be gluten sensitive. If that is the case, keep the gluten-free foods and products on a higher shelf and the gluten-based products on a lower shelf, because small dust particles of gluten can keep you being exposed, which ultimately will keep you sick. I have even seen that 1/350th part of a slice of loaf bread can make someone sick. Imagine that. So now, let's talk about buying new gluten-free items. You do not have to buy products that are listed only as gluten-free. Many products are naturally gluten-free. However, they may be produced in a plant that may not be gluten-free. So you have to investigate. Also, on that same note, but different, a product that is marked as gluten-free is either naturally gluten-free and it is produced in a plant that is also gluten-free. This can be expensive, and to the consumer, they are the ones that pays for this. So again, please investigate. And remember, wheat-free does not necessarily mean gluten-free. This marking on a product means nothing. There could be small amounts of gluten still in the product, especially if they use things like flavorings, etc., in the production of that product. There are many products out there that you would not think contain gluten or wheat. Some of those items are ice cream, for example, lunch meats, certain cheeses, some flavored coffees, certain candies, beers, some liquors, pet foods, and even kisses. Yes, kisses. If you or your loved one eats something that is not gluten-free and then turns around and kisses someone that is gluten-free, you could contaminate the person that is gluten-free. Yes, it sounds radical, but this is serious business, and I'm trying to cover all the bases and make you aware of the potential. By the way, the same is true for puppy kisses. Now your kitchen is clean. You still have to also think about other areas in your home. You have to think about your bathroom. Look into your cosmetics, creams, lotions, lipsticks, lip balms, toothpaste, and mouthwash. Many of them have gluten in them. You also have to think about your medicine cabinet. Check your vitamins, your probiotics, and even some prescription drugs have gluten in them. Then, next, go into your office. Look around. It can be hiding anywhere. Your envelopes, the glue that is used to seal those envelopes, may not be gluten-free. Then go into your kids' playroom. Those glues, paints, Play-Doh, etc. may not, or I'm sorry, those glues, paints, Play-Dohs, they may contain gluten. Now granted, a child isn't supposed to be eating these things, but how many of them actually do it? They may be exposing themselves to gluten in their playroom. So you most likely have gotten rid of a lot of things, from groceries, pots, pans, kitchen utensils, etc. Please don't throw them out. Donate to a church, a charity, a school, a food bank, or even family members or friends. Even though you may not be able to use them, someone else may. Yes, this is a whole new world for you and your home. And now today, with technology the way that it is, there are many things that can help you along this journey. Here I have given you some of my favorite apps that have helped me with my journey. Some help you navigate through the grocery store by scanning the barcodes of a specific item and telling you if the product is gluten-free or not. And others help find places to eat, anywhere from fine dining to fast food. Then there are other apps that will tell you about ingredients and products that are either gluten-free or not. I do recommend these apps because they will help you. And they're also free, so don't miss out. I hope this presentation of how to set up a gluten-free kitchen and home has helped you and will continue to help you. Please share this with your family, friends, and loved ones. And on behalf of myself, Chef Vidam Clementi, and Vidam's Gluten-Free and Fabulous, I want to thank you for your time. I want you to go and check out my cookbook and my Southern Comfort recipes. And also, I want you to visit my website. Remember, each weekend I post a new gluten-free recipe, and I also produce a free newsletter that I'd love to share with you. If you have not visited my website, I invite you to check out www.chefvidam.com. Also, check out my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media sites. If you have not shared me with your friends and family, please do so today. I look forward to sharing more gluten-free news with you, and thank you once again.